Good morning. My name is Roger Strickland. This is Microeconomics, ECO 2023. Today is Tuesday, January the 6th. This is our first day of class. It is Tuesday, and this class is a hybrid section which in the schedule meets only on Tuesdays. And there is another hybrid section which meets here, same time, on Thursdays. My intent is that if at all possible, you attend both Tuesdays and Thursdays. There is sufficient seating for what will normally be the students who attend class. It is my experience after 34 years of teaching this course that people who come to class do reasonably well or excel, and people who do not come to class fail miserably. So I want to encourage you in the strongest possible terms, come to every class. Come prepared, filled with questions. My intent is that you learn this material at home and you come to class to ask questions, to clarify it, to work on the homework that's assigned and that sort of thing. There are numerous videos that go with this course that explain the material. They are on my YouTube channel. I've got over 1 million hits on those videos from around the world. And most people say, hey, this is really easy to understand. That said, a number of successful students in the past have told me, I had to watch your damn video 8 times, but then it made sense. That's okay. So the intent for this course is that you watch that material at home. You attempt that homework at home. And you come to class and say, I'm on question number 4 in Appendix A and it doesn't make any damn sense. And we will resolve that question. I don't intend to spend classroom time presenting material and explaining it when it's already on video for you to watch and pause and rewatch as many times as you want. Okay? That's the way the system's going to work. If you come to class Thursday, it will be the second day of the term. So for the people in the Thursday class, I'm going to tell them, you missed the first day, but it's on video, because I'm going to record every class and post it to the YouTube channel. So if you have to miss a day, it'll be on video. But again, I tell you, if you come to class regularly, you will do best in this course. All right? This class has 3 exams. You'll see this in the syllabus, and we'll go through that in a minute. Those exams clearly are very, very important. If you wait until 4 days or 5 days before that exam to start studying, I can guarantee you, you are providing me with job security. Because you will be back here next term taking the same damn class. You cannot sandbag and procrastinate and learn this material in a couple of days. Doesn't happen. So stay up with us. To help ensure that, there is a series of 17 quizzes in this course that you will take online via Canvas. Let me explain those quizzes very, very carefully. They will be open for a brief window of time, about 36 hours. You must take the quiz during that time where it closes. They will be graded on the Canvas and you'll see your score. If you miss too many of those quizzes, I will reduce your letter grade in this course by 1 letter grade. I think I said you have to take at least 12 or 14 of those quizzes. 14. How many? 14. 14. Why? Because if you're continually taking those quizzes, you're seeing how you're doing. And if you're not doing well on the quizzes, that's a signal. Come to class, get involved, ask questions. So if you don't take the quizzes, it will hurt you. If you take the quizzes and fail every single one, it won't have any impact on your grade. Okay? You can fail every quiz, it won't hurt your grade a bit. And if you take the quizzes and do that rather well, then when I take your 3 exams and set your grade, and I see you've done well on the quizzes, if you've got a borderline grade, you will get the benefit of the doubt. Okay? Just remember, the quizzes have very small windows on when you can take them. There are no retakes, there are no makeups. You miss that time window, you're done. Let's take a moment, I'll get on the computer and we'll look at some of the documentation for the course. Everybody familiar with how to get into Canvas? How do you get into Canvas as a student?
Through eSanta Fe.
You go to eSanta Fe and then there's up at the top of the screen something says Canvas. Bingo.
There's a phone app also.
There's a phone app also. Good. Once you get on Canvas, it will show you all of your courses. Oh, come on. Let me see if I can make this work right. Your courses and groups, you see on mine, these are the courses I'm teaching this term. Macro, micro, management, and strategy. Your courses that you're taking will be shown there. This is a combination section on Canvas for micro. It's section 9 Tuesdays, section 10 Thursdays. That's what you'll click, and that'll take you to the home page with my smiling face. It will have some things for you to consider. What you probably want to do next is to take a look at the modules. The course is set up in different modules. You can see here's materials for exam 1. When you open it up, it'll have all kinds of PowerPoints and the appendices, Appendix A, Appendix B. Those are your homework, if you like it. Those are your practice questions. And that's where you will immediately bury yourself. Appendix A, hopefully by the time you get home tonight. Get started on it. It is 75 questions, multiple choice. It's based on these PowerPoints up here first. You want to watch those. And once you wade into those questions, they all have answers and brief explanations to help you put the material together. I would suggest you get through Appendix A as quickly as you can and start swimming around in the material. So we go all the way through Appendix F. We have some quizzes there that are just for fun, just for practice, no grades. That's exam 1. Exam 2 and exam 3, same kind of approach. Exam 3 has multiple modules, but it's all part of one exam. More importantly at this point is to open the Administrative Documents module. The syllabus for the course is basically the policies, how we set your grades, etc. The big deal is the course schedule. When you click on it, it will usually open in Canvas, but if it won't, just download it. Click on Download, open it, and now you've got the course schedule. There's some explanation up here. Here's today's schedule, what we're doing. Review the syllabus. It tells you go home and watch the PowerPoints and begin Appendix A. There's a paper you have to write we will discuss. It's not a big deal. And then when you get to next week, you begin to see those 17 quizzes I was telling you about. Quiz 1, it opens at noon on the 15th of January and it closes at 10 p.m. the next night. So you must take that quiz within that time frame. When you go to Canvas, if you click on Quizzes and then click on Quiz 1, when it is ready, it will open up and you'll be able to go right through the questions. The quizzes don't take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. They're very brief until towards the end.
Are they timed?
Yes, they are timed. Okay. Okay, so let's go back and look at this course schedule for a moment, see if there's anything else. You see the dates for the examinations. Exam 1, the Tuesday section takes it on February 3rd, the Thursday section takes it on Thursday the 5th. They are given down in the big open lab in Building 216. So that day, don't come here for class. Show up down at the big open lab, take the exam, bingo, done. Yes, sir?
Do you have to bring a enter?
No, you'll take it all on the computer.
How many times can we take the quizzes?
Just once.
Just once.
So that's the course schedule. You know, the key there is making sure you have these dates and times plugged into your personal calendar and make sure you don't miss them. What else is on here? There's a PowerPoint, kind of introduces the class. You can watch that pretty quickly. There's the VRSQ, the videos, readings, and study questions. When I open that, and I'll download it because it's easier. This document shows you the videos for each week. The first 5 videos here are about the paper you're going to write. I want to discuss that in class on Thursday. You can look at them anytime. And then there are other videos, the PowerPoints that were shown to you in the modules, but also later, not necessarily next week, but things on price ceilings and shortages. And week by week, you see the videos that you need to use, and those are effectively the class lectures. Based on those videos, you'll work through the appendices and the practice problems. And when you come to class, I will ask you, okay, today let's look at Appendix B. Any questions on those that you want to go over? And if you do, we will go over them. And if you say, I don't have any questions, then we'll go to something else. Okay? That's the nature of the beast. So, course schedule and VRSQ, I think that's pretty much it. Yes, ma'am.
I do have one question.
Sure.
Is your paper due on Canvas or do you
Thank you. The paper is to be submitted as an assignment on Canvas. The quizzes are also called assignments. The choices paper you see down here, if you see in the screen, is due February 5th. Okay? And you will basically, you click on that, and then, let's see here. I guess this is my view. It will have a submit button, and you upload it like you would an attachment to email. Pretty straightforward. Yes, sir.
Is there a textbook?
I'm sorry?
Is there a textbook?
Is there a textbook? No.
So it'll be just videos, and appendix, and files.
Yep. And if you would like to get a textbook for reference, I would suggest you buy one really cheap on Chegg or eBay, because they're in micro, they're all the same. I don't require it. The great majority of successful students say they never opened it, but some people like to have it for reference. No problem.
Goodwill, I went there and they had a lot of the micro books. I know.
Where was this?
Goodwill.
Goodwill.
Yeah, it was like $2 for I think like 10 books.
Outstanding. I didn't know Goodwill carried textbooks.
There's a used bookstore on 43rd and 16th also. So it's like really cheap textbooks and stuff.
Used was 43rd and 16th?
On 43rd Street, yeah.
Yeah. Where? That's over by,
By the Jersey Mike's and Publix and all that.
there's a used bookstore?
Well, I bought a couple of used books there, some textbooks.
Oh, yeah, no, Book Gallery West. I don't know if they carry textbooks, but, yeah, good to know. And there's another bookstore over here on 39th Avenue behind Walgreens.
You can also borrow the same book at the library.
You can borrow it if you keep it in the library. Right. And I don't know that it's there right now, but I'll get one over there the next day or two. But ideally, you won't need a textbook anyway, huh? So, let's see if we can go back to where we were. Yes, sir.
I had a question about attendance. Like, if you attend class, like, do you have to attend a certain amount of classes?
I don't strictly take attendance, and I don't count it. I will frequently take a roster, because when I find a student who's not doing well on the quizzes and not coming to class, and then they want to have excuses for why they didn't do well on the exam, I can go. But your attendance won't affect your grade. So show up if you want to. Don't show up if you don't want to, but be forewarned. When I teach this class as an online section and people don't have to come to class, 40 to 60% of the class fails or drops. When I teach it in the classroom, 10% fails or drops. And those are mostly the ones who weren't interested in it. So please attend if you can. It's in your own best interest. Yes, sir.
So every lecture will be online?
Every lecture will be on video. I have a YouTube channel that's got my videos on it. I've got over 1 million hits around the world. Most of the comments I get are, your videos are fairly easy to understand. And many successful students come to me and say, I had to watch your damn video 8 times, but then it made sense. So, very good. Yes, ma'am.
Back to your comment at the beginning of the class saying that you cannot study like the weekend before.
Yeah.
I had to, unfortunately, this is my second time taking the class, and you literally cannot study the weekend before and try to learn everything. So that is very true.
I
So-
appreciate your reemphasizing
So-
that. I agree. Along that line, I would strongly encourage you to put together a little study group of 4 or 5 or 6 people and meet at least once a week. And as a study group, that doesn't mean let's go get a cup of coffee and shoot the breeze. It means let's go reserve a little meeting room in the library. The 6 of us will be there on Thursday mornings at 8:15. When we meet this Thursday, you take the first 5 questions in Appendix A, you take the next 5 questions, and you be ready to stand up, present them, and teach them to us. And if you do that and your teammates, your study mates also contribute, I promise you that'll be a good learning experience. Sir?
Do you think like the last 5 minutes of today's class, we can like pass a paper and see who wants to?
I guarantee you we will finish early and you can do anything you want.
Okay.
Cool. Yes, ma'am.
On Canvas, is there a link to your YouTube channel or?
All of the videos on the VRSQ show the URL. You just cut and paste it into your browser. I hope. Everything around here is inshallah. You know what inshallah means? Arabic or Turkish for God willing.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. I hope, translation. It may not work, but usually it does. Okay? Other questions? Somebody? Yes, sir.
In any of the papers you're going to pass around today, is it going to say your YouTube channel name? Like your...
The channel name is The Wyvern, TheWyvern. V is in Victor, ERN, 66. That's the channel name.
The Wyvern 66.
It's The Wyvern 66.
Say that again.
TheWy, V is in Victor, ERN, 66. Anybody need that phonetically? Tango Hotel Echo, Whiskey Yankee, Victor Echo, Romeo November 66. You got that? Okay. I am considering, and if I do, I'll let you know, I may create a separate channel for all these class videos. If I do, you'll know about it. But the ones that are in the VRSQ are good to go. I will post the video from today, hopefully by tomorrow sometime, and I will do that for every class. I will record it and post it, so you can always go back and reference it. Yes, sir?
How are you with email?
Email me on Canvas, not on Santa Fe email, but on Canvas. And I tend to check that at least once or twice a day. Maybe not so much on weekends. Depends on whether the fish are biting. Other questions that occur to you, please feel free to interrupt at any time. Pose a question, ask for clarification.
Where do you go fishing at?
Oh, I don't tell you that. I'll draw you a map after class.
Yeah.
I like to fish out of the Gulf, but I fish some of the lakes too. I'll be glad to share with you where I go, no problem. You and me, I don't think everybody else wants to know. Background, let me tell you a little bit about myself, because I want you to feel comfortable talking to me, raising questions. I don't want you ever to be intimidated or afraid to raise your hand, okay? Background. My father was a soldier. He served in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. I lived as a small child in Austria and Germany. I lived as a middle school child in Turkey, and I lived as a high school student for 2 years in Taiwan. In between those tours, we would come back and usually live in Kentucky or Tennessee or Texas. I finished high school in Texas. I'm an only child. We moved all the time. My best friends were my parents. But I was always the FNG in the classroom. You know what an FNG is? Anybody? The freaking new guy. I was always the new guy coming into the classroom. And so if you're an international student or you are up here away from home for the first time, simpatico. I relate to what you're going through, man. You're a stranger in a strange land. You wonder what the hell's going on. Anytime you want to chat about that, any issues you're facing, academic, real world, let me know. Anytime you want to talk to me, the best time to catch me is right after class. But if you really want to sit down and talk in the office or something, or go get a cup of coffee, make an appointment with me, please. I've got 7 classes, nearly 200 students, and I got to make sure I schedule my time carefully. But I can meet with you other than just after this class. If we find a time and we want to meet somewhere, on campus, off campus, anytime you want to talk, anytime you got an issue, let me know. Okay? When I finished high school, I came to the University of Florida. I majored in business and finance. Pardon me. And when I graduated, 3 days later, I was at Fort Knox, Kentucky in the Army. And so I spent 5 years in the United States Army as a tanker, driving and shooting tanks for the most part. When I got out of the Army, I came back to the University of Florida. I did my master's in business administration and finally took an economics course that I enjoyed, because I did not enjoy the first 8 or 10. And then I stayed on and continued to take economics courses in the doctoral program. Struggling to make a living, I didn't finish that program, but I did go out and begin teaching seminars on business management. After doing that for a couple of years, I came to Santa Fe, started teaching part-time, went full-time, and when I finish this term, I will have finished 34 years at Santa Fe, full-time instructor. I've taught most of the courses in the business curriculum around here. I've taught accounting, all the economics, management, marketing. If you're thinking about those courses, or you're taking those courses and having some issues, let me know. I don't know very much about teaching the managerial accounting course or the law courses. But if I can help you on any of the others, let me know. Aside from the economics classes, Santa Fe also offers bachelor's degrees now. 2 of them are offered through business programs. The bachelor's degree in health services administration, if you were interested in going into the healthcare field in an administrative managerial role, and organizational management, grooming you to be a manager in any sort of organization, nonprofit, governmental, or private, I teach very actively in the organizational management program. I teach the initial management course that people take, and I teach the strategy course that they take just before graduation. If you would like to talk about your options for bachelor's degrees, particularly in business, I'd love to do that here in class, because you can go to the University of Florida, you can go to the University of Florida online, you can go to the University of Florida Agribusiness Program, Hellerman Program, St. Leo, and Santa Fe, all those right here. So there are a lot of options out there that I'd be delighted to chat with you about, hopefully as a group. Aside from Santa Fe, I was a soccer referee for 15 years, refereed up through the college ranks and the adult ranks. As you know, Gainesville is a very international community. We have students from around the world. Frequently, they will form a team of their countrymen. You'll have a Colombian team or a Venezuelan team or a Taiwanese team. I've refereed many of those games. I've been called a son of a bitch in 16 different languages, a couple of which Turkish I recognize. I don't referee anymore, and I don't watch as much soccer, but I certainly have some good stories about it and enjoy it. For 9 years, I had a business up the road in Stark. It was a taxidermy business. What is taxidermy?
The animal dies, you can get other stuff.
We stuff dead animals for you to put on your wall and tell stories about, mostly lies. So for 9 years, I ran a small business, and I have a number of stories for you for this class that I will use based on my experiences in that small business. For the last 25 years, I have been consulting and training in governmental, nonprofit, and for-profit businesses around the state. So I'll try to share some of that insofar as it relates to this course. I have 2 children, both grown. One did his engineering degree and his master's at Florida. One did her music education degree and her master's at LSU. They both have 2 children. And my wife's son just had a baby girl in November, so I now have 5 grandchildren. And they are truly the light of my life. They are the boys that came up with my daughter over the New Year's are about 5 and 6 years old. That's when they're just old enough that they pay attention and they really need. I figure by the time they're 12 or 13, they'll be a total pain in the ass, right? And last that way till they're what, 35? So I'm very much about a whole lot more than microeconomics. I'm very much about why are you here and where are you going and how are you going to get there. I want to talk about things about the real world, not just economic theory. So we will begin every class with the same question. I will ask you, what do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Something about Santa Fe or classes? Something about roommates or car repairs? Something about inflation and the economy and jobs? First few minutes of every class is a wide open forum for us to discuss anything you like. I will talk about some of the options on degrees, for example. The choices paper that you have to write for this course, 5 to 8 pages, double-spaced, not a big chore. That paper is all about you. It is going to be written by you and to you. And hopefully you're going to read it again in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years, or 10 or 12. Because that paper is the essence of economics. What is economics about? What is economics? I mean, we even have to take it in high school now. Why? What does economics teach you?
It's how our world functions.
How what?
How our world functions.
How the world functions, I think so, very much. And how you fit into it. The books will tell you economics is the study of the allocation of scarce resources. What the hell does that mean? The allocation of scarce resources means how do you spend or use your resources, your time, your money, your mind. The study of the allocation of scarce resources. I don't like that. I think economics is about the study of what are you going to do with what you got.
I wish it would say that.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all.
Yeah, that's what economics is about. What are you going to do with what you got? Well, isn't that what life is about? What are you going to do with what you got? Economics gives us a way to understand the world around us and how we fit and play in there to our advantage. So this paper, for example, is going to ask you, where do you want to be in 5 years? Maybe 6. Assume that you're 1 or 2 years out of college. You will be out of college by then, right? Where are you going to live? What kind of job you got? How much money do you make? What kind of car do you drive? What kind of furniture do you have in your place? What kind of place do you have? Are you renting or are you buying? Are you married? You in a relationship? You got kids? Got pets? How do you spend your free time? Where do you want to be in 5 years? I want you to think about that because you're going to have to write it down. And then I want you to think about how are you going to make that happen? That's economics. That's what a lot of our informal class discussions will be about. Is it tough to find a job these days when you finish college? Any idea? A lot of people are struggling. Salaries are not very high. Jobs are hard to find. With some exceptions. If you're a petroleum engineer, not too much trouble getting a job. You got any petroleum engineers in here? Probably not. There are people who say, I want to get into international business and travel. You know what percentage of the workforce does international travel? What percentage of the people working? 2%. And most of them not until they've been in their careers for 8 to 10 years. So let's get realistic. Where do you want to go? How are you going to get there? How do you find a job when you finish college? Hopefully you do some internships along the way before you graduate and you make some relationships and contacts and you do a good job and impress people and they even offer you a job before you graduate. That's smart. I'm going to tell you that if you don't have a job the day you graduate college, I'm going to take the 3 biggest guys in this room and come find you and we're going to kick your ass. Because you should be working on finding that job before you graduate, not after. Every once in a while somebody will say, yeah, when I graduate, I'm going to take about 6 months off and look for a job. I'll kick your ass. My daughter finished her bachelor's degree at LSU and called me. Said, Dad, can I come back and live with you for a while? No. Daddy, you got a degree, go get a job. It worked. So practical knowledge, what are you going to do with your life? And what are the things you have to do to make it happen? By the way, only stupid people send out resumes and wait for the phone to ring. That is stupid. We'll explain why later. But basically, if you send me a resume and I don't know you from Adam's house cat, you think I'm going to spend a lot of time and money trying to hire you based on a piece of paper? There's smarter ways to do it than that. And we'll talk about those. That'll be part of your choices paper too. So practical matters as well as economic theory. That's where we're going. All right? Where's my roster? Got it right here. Everybody got your name on the roster? Some people put your name down twice so you get extra credit. There is no extra credit in this course. That's pretty much who I am. What is on your mind? What would you like to chat about?
How does the business, like online classes for UF, how does that work out with Santa Fe? And like, do you have to apply for UF or
Yes.
can you, okay, so you
You
get
finish your
accepted.
AA degree here with your business pre-professionals, you apply for Florida for their online program.
Okay.
The last I heard, the GPA required was a 2.5, whereas
They
to get
raised
into the
it.
real
Oh.
live classes, it's 3.7 to 3.8 to 4.6, I don't know.
I think the GPA was 2.9 to get in for the online.
They raised it to a new 2.9?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that's news to me, but I don't keep up with it. How many of you have taken an online class? How many of you like online classes? Do you? Good. I've been teaching online classes for, I guess, 7 years now, 8 years. I hate them. I think they're a very poor educational experience. Because there's no human interaction. If I had somebody come to me for a job interview who had a bachelor's degree with an online college, who had never been to a classroom, I would really be interested in what else they were doing in their other time.
Can you work up, if you were to not actually get into the business program at UF, can you work up from the online class to actually go into the program?
I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure they're very resistant to that idea. They're very jealous of their seats. Sure.
I take back the 2.9 thing. You need 2.9 to get in with without, there's 2 classes that are optional, but you need 2.9 GPA to get in without those 2 classes, or 2.5 if you take them.
Do you recall what those classes are?
I think it was like technical communication,
Yeah.
and I don't know what the other one is.
Okay, if you learn, would you please share that with me?
Yeah.
Anybody else, anything? Yes, ma'am.
You have the same class on Thursday?
Not the same class.
Oh.
I teach Tuesdays and Thursdays like it's a regular 2-day-a-week class. When I come to class Thursday, I'm going to be on the 2nd day of the term. That's why I want you to come, if you can, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
But if not, it's online.
But if not, it'll be videoed and inshallah, it'll be online. All right, so far, a little quick introduction to microeconomics. I hope you like graphs. Everything in this course is based on graphs, just about. The first thing we're going to look at, and this is, I'm really anticipating what you're going to see in the first PowerPoints and videos. We're going to look at the basic relationship between the price of a product and how much of that product people buy. Said real simply, when hot dogs are cheap, we eat more hot dogs. When the price of a product is up here at, let's say, $9, we're going to observe that people buy 15 of them every day, making up the numbers. But if we were to drop the price down to $6, we would sell more of them, let's say 26 a day. And so from that, we have 2 points of data. Price of 9, quantity of 15, point A. Price of 6, quantity of 26, point B. And so point A and point B are representative data of what's going on in the market. If we did this for all of the prices and asked how much would people buy, we would get a basically negative relationship, something like that we call a demand curve. It's got a negative slope, right? Negative slope. And it says basically when prices go down, people buy more. Not rocket science. But we're not content to leave it that simple. Basically, whenever the price falls and people buy more, anytime you move along the demand curve, whether you're going down or going up, we say that that is going to cause a change, delta means change, in the quantity that people demand or buy. So a change in quantity demanded is movement up and down the curve. Again, not rocket science. But suppose this is how much people buy during the week. But on Saturdays and Sundays, more people come into town, maybe this is a farmer's market, and at $9, well, on Saturdays, they actually sell 21 units, which gives us this point up here, point C. That's how much people buy on the weekends. And at $6, people buy 47 units, way out here, points C and D. Those describe a different demand curve for the weekend. And when the entire curve moves, and on Monday it moves back, when the entire curve moves, we call that a change in demand, not quantity demanded. If you can get those two terms clear in your mind, you're well on your way towards the first part of the challenges of this course. What makes the quantity demand change? The price change. What makes the demand change? What makes the whole curve shift? Demand changes as a function of or because of 5 different forces. And you must know these very well. They are explained in the lectures and the videos and the PowerPoints. But one of them is the number of buyers. When the number of buyers for a product increases, the demand increases. We sell more at every price. That's what happened to our farmers market. On the weekend, more people came to the market. If the number of buyers decreases, which happens on Mondays, the demand curve shifts. That's a change in demand. You with me? What else makes the demand curve move? Buyers, plural, expectations. Suppose the black curve here is the demand for peanut butter. But when you read the paper tomorrow, the front headline in print, this big, says, peanut butter increases your sexual attractiveness. What will happen? You won't be able to get into the damn grocery store. It would be lined up. For a lot of them, that's a last best hope, right? That's an increase in demand based on their expectations of being more attractive. Question?
Yeah, what does F stand for?
F means it's a function of or it depends on. What else might cause the demand for a product to change? The next one? Tastes and preferences. Tastes and preferences, kind of like fads, you know? What's something that's real popular today that wasn't very popular last year? Well, let me ask you this. How popular is Gator hats and t-shirts based on the football team this year? Not much demand. If the Gators go out and start winning a lot of games, what will happen? It'll become more popular, an increase in demand. Okay? Tastes and preferences change all the time. The next two are a little bit complicated, but you get a sense of what we're doing. Incomes. The amount of money people have to spend can change the demand for a product in one of two ways. Incomes, I use the letter Y to say income. Okay? And so we say that most of the time when incomes go up, Y increases, the demand for most goods also increases, shifts to the right. If you had more money, would you buy more steak, more lobster, more Mercedes? Sure. This is what happens for most goods. And so we call these normal goods. That's what is normal for most goods. People get more money, they buy more. When their income goes down, they buy less. But can you think of a good that if your income went up, you would buy less of it? Yeah, but give me a particular product. Ramen noodles. Tell me if your income doubled, you would buy lots more ramen noodles. And I think, are you familiar with the meat product called Spam? Yeah. What is Spam? It's a canned pork byproduct. After they slaughter the hog, they take all the good meat cuts off of it. There's still lots of good meat on that carcass, but it's in little bitty pieces and chips and flakes. And they take all that meat off, they put it together with some spices, stir it all up, and they form it into a loaf and put it in a can. That's Spam. How many of you have tried Spam? Bunch of sissies in there. Yeah. It's not bad. They slice it fairly thin, fry it up like bacon, and make a BLT out of it. It's a lot better if you don't eat for 3 days first, but it's still pretty good. And Spam is one of these kind of goods that when people get more money, they buy less of it, but when their incomes go down, they buy more of it. And our word for that, to describe those kind of goods, we call them inferior goods. Not because their quality is inferior, but because of the way buyers behave when their income changes. You okay?
Isn't there one that when they do have more money, they'll buy more of as well?
That becomes taste and preferences. Yeah. Something becomes more fatty.
Yeah.
All right, the last one, again, a little bit complicated. The price of related goods. Related, there you go, Steve. If the price of Chevrolets goes up, Chevrolet prices rise, what will happen to the demand for Fords?
They're probably right.
What?
They're cheaper.
Chevrolet prices go up, you're selling Fords. What's going to happen on your car lot?
You're gonna have more.
You're gonna rise
people.
your price.
You're going to have people who said, oh, damn, Chevrolet's too expensive for me now, I'll go buy a Ford. The demand for Fords will increase. This is true for Coke and Pepsi. Okay? These goods we call substitutes. I'm going to say we're going to call them substitutes in consumption, when we consume them. When one of them gets expensive, we go buy the other one. Okay so far? So if this was the demand curve for Fords, Chevrolet prices go up, the demand for Fords increases.
What does P mean?
Hmm?
P? The P before Chevrolet?
The price of Chevrolets.
Oh, okay.
You gotta catch me like that, sometimes I'm not real clear. What about this one? What happens if the price of peanut butter rises? What happens to the demand for jelly?
Goes down.
Does it decrease?
Yes.
Why?
Goes to
Might
complement.
stay with it.
Because not everybody, but a lot of people buy them to use together. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich, PBJ. If it costs more to buy peanut butter, then the cost of my sandwich is going to go up. I'm not going to fix as many sandwiches, so I don't need as much jelly, so the demand for jelly goes down. And we call these goods complements, meaning that we move them together. Trivia question. What is the difference in these two words, complement? One spelled with an I, one spelled with an E.
Compliment is something positive you say about someone, where a compliment is something that supplements the other.
Which one's got the I in it?
That's the positive.
The positive statement, you say, you look very nice today. That's a compliment with an I. This complements that color of dress very nicely. They go good together. E. So, we got 5 things that'll make the demand curve move. Your challenge is to know these intimately and recognize them when they're at play when I give you a scenario, when I give you questions. When you get into Appendix A, that's the kind of stuff you got to have as background so that when you read the question, you can say, oh, this will make the demand curve go to the right or go to the left. There is a similar list for the supply curve. The supply curve, when we draw it, comes out with a positive slope. It will change to another supply curve by moving that way. And there are 5 things that make that happen. They are all shown on the PowerPoints and the videos. You want to learn them and also be able to recognize when the supply curve moves in that question. That's your big challenge. I urge you to try it at least as much as you can between now and Thursday. But make damn sure you set aside a few hours to do it between now and next Tuesday. Because by then you should be hip deep in this stuff and you should be coming to class with a lot of questions, and many of you will be extremely irate with me, and that's okay. That means you're in there swinging, okay? To imagine that you cannot attempt this work and simply come to class and absorb it is fantasy. You need to stop smoking that stuff. You can't absorb this. You have got to get involved and try it and work on it and even get aggravated. May I erase the board now? Question?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, the substitutes and consumption,
Yeah.
the reason it's that is because you can either pick like a Honda or a Toyota,
That's
like
correct.
that. But with the complements, it's kind of like spaghetti, like noodles and
You buy
spaghetti.
one, you buy the other. Now, there's somebody in this classroom who's going to look at me and say, well, I don't like peanut butter and jelly. To which I will say, I don't give a damn. This isn't about you. This is about the market for peanut butter or jelly, okay? So don't be pulling those little smart
It would be either noodles or spaghetti if it's a substitute. And with spaghetti, it would be tomato sauce.
Right.
That would be a compliment.
That would be a compliment.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
There are 2 videos I hope you will watch before Thursday. I'm going to do one of them very quickly and we'll call it a day. One video is called Stupid Questions. Are there stupid questions a student can ask? Absolutely. There is never a stupid question when you're in this classroom and something up here isn't clear. That's never a stupid question. I don't understand that. Why is that happening? Why did it shift that way? That's never a stupid question. Let me tell you what a stupid question is. Mr. Strickland, I can't be here on Thursday. Are you going to be doing anything important? Thursday? Oh, no, hell no, I never do anything important on Thursdays. Don't worry about it. All right? There are stupid questions. Watch the video. This is about the video called AHA. What does AHA mean? I got it. I understand. How do we say that in Georgia? When you're looking at something that's not clear, then you get it. What do you say in Georgia? Damn. You got it, okay? Here's how AHA works in economics, and especially in micro. This is your proficiency, how good you are at working out these questions. And it goes up to 100%. That means you get every question right all the time and you understand it. And this is the amount of time you spend working on these questions. And here's what the pattern looks like. I guarantee it. The first few hours you spend on this, you will not understand a damn thing. You will go, man, this is just garbage. And you go back and watch the video again, watch the PowerPoint again, look at the question again, and you go, this is terrible. And then you will hit a question, and you'll get it right, and you'll say, ha, I got it now. Until you go to the next question. You'll be right down here. And then you'll eventually get another question right, and you'll go, now I got it all figured out now. No problem. Give me another one. You see what's happening? I got it. Next question. Oh, damn. This is what's going to happen. If you spend enough time, you're going to get out here and you're going to go, aha. I got them all. I understand the way all these things work. I can take any question, pull it apart, put it together, again, tell you what's going to happen. This is where you want to be for the first exam. If you have not put in sufficient time and you are down here for the first exam, it will be a disaster. Now, I don't know how many hours this takes. You're not going to know either until you have done it. That's what those quizzes are for. That's what those practice questions are for. That's what this classroom is for. You get that understood. All right? If you delay starting for another 2 weeks, you'll be about right, maybe here, for the first exam. You won't pass it. Get started now. Put the time in now. Conspire, collude, cooperate. Work with some others to get it done. Question?
Do you give extra time on exams for ADD people or anything?
If you need extra time, you'll need to set it up with the DRC, Disabilities Resource Center. And I will definitely allow for that by coordinating with them. No problem. Anything else? You don't get a calculator on the first exam. You will find it very useful on the second. Not so much the exams are not cumulative. Okay. Exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, done. The third exam is the last week of class, not during exam week. So you can finish them and be done. Something else I was going to say. It wasn't important.
Will there be a final, or it's just exam 3, that's it?
3 exams done, 3 exams and out.
Now, is exam 1 like what we learned before that, exam 2, after exam?
It's everything after exam
Right.
1.
Oh,
But remember that parts of this course,
Right.
necessarily, you need to know the basics.
Right.
Give me just a second. We're gonna, Do you understand that, I mean, pick anything you're good at. Playing the piano, playing baseball, working crossword puzzles. Isn't there a pattern and a system to how to do that? If you get reasonably accomplished in anything, there's a system to it. Once you learn the system, things are a lot easier. Is there a system to go into college? Is there a pattern? I guarantee you there is. And the pattern is get engaged, spend a lot of time, make the connections. I'd have a study group, and I damn sure wouldn't meet at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd have my study group meet at 7 o'clock at night. And by 8:30, we'd be going out for a beer. Because I would be combining my study applications and the good times, the socializing, making friends. There's a pattern out there that makes college a whole lot more fun, enjoyable, and productive.
Hey, Fridays, endless bonus weeks.
And Fridays are endless bonus ways where?
Gators outside.
Gators Dockside. See, some people at least have the socializing part down. Now get the study groups together, you're gonna be fine, right? Figure out the pattern and enjoy college. Okay?
And we're all connected with Canvas, and I normally do a study group anyways, especially for classes like this. So I can send out an email and you guys can all respond, and then I can send out group text messages.
That's perfect.
Awesome, thank you.
And if you want to wind up with a study group of 55 people, that's great. Okay, just watch out for the free riders. People who don't want to contribute.
Yeah.
If you have any concerns at all about this course, academics, Santa Fe, or anything else, if I can help, please call on me. I will see you Thursday, I hope, in class. Peace.